Meryl Streep was, in my opinion, the most unexpected to emerge this weekend. This weekend, it was revealed that she and her lifelong spouse, Don Gummer, had been divorced for 6 years, despite their 45-year marriage. Despite bearing the burden of a devastating loss, how can you continue to shine as one of the greatest performers of all time? In addition to her legendary roles and record-breaking honors, Meryl Streep's career has been characterized by personal traumas that few have seen beyond her public persona. Her narrative is a tribute to the intertwining of sensitivity and fortitude, from catastrophic losses to quiet reinvention. What truths are hidden behind decades of recognition and acclaim? This is the tale of an artist who perseveres while her own heart continues to heal. Personal setbacks that influenced her. Deep sorrow and personal tragedy have molded Meryl Streep's heart, which is the source of her amazing skill. She experienced a love so intense that it scarred her for life. John Cazale, her partner, passed away. Every production they worked on was enhanced by the presence of renowned actor John. However, Streep's life changed when sickness hit abruptly and brutally. Holding him in his last moments caused her to experience a quiet anguish that would cloud a large portion of her personal life. Meryl's career was taking off at the same time as John's fight with cancer, resulting in a sharp contrast between the two. She bravely continued to work on challenging jobs while taking care of him because she was determined to respect their time together despite the sadness. This delicate balance between love and grief turned into a silent monument to her tenacity, a quality that would drive her subsequent performances. This loss would have a lasting effect on her life, affecting her decisions both on and off screen. Her commitment went beyond sacrificing her career. She pushed filmmakers to save John's scenes until the end of production, when he was still able to perform, in an effort to preserve his presence in the projects that both of them were passionate about. This was an acknowledgement of a shared artistic journey that was cruelly cut short. Not merely devotion to a spouse. Audiences would subsequently feel a depth of character in her most haunting depictions, which were conveyed by the vulnerability she displayed in those moments. For years, however, the whole narrative of how this loss influenced her inner life was kept largely secret. Grief became a constant companion, bringing realism and emotional gravitas to her art. Although the public appreciated her commitment and talent, few were aware of the underlying traumas. Her quest for recognition and honors was clouded by the weight of this early tragedy, which further complicated her public persona. This was more than just the tale of a talented actress. It told the story of a woman who endured one of the most agonizing sufferings in life, in silence. Streep's personal experiences inform how she depicts pain in her performances, bridging the gap between art and real-life events. Few performers are able to connect with her performances, which contained an honesty that could only come from deep comprehension. She fought the memories that would follow her, no matter what honor she got during her alone time. Until the world lost interest in her, the tragedy remained hidden beneath the surface, influencing her personal relationships and life choices. Her journey to love and family life was further hindered by the early loss. Many believe that one can distance themselves from passion or connection following a tragedy. For Street, however, the narrative was more complex. She found comfort after John's death, which let her discover love once more. She was still affected by the first significant loss, but it played a significant role in her emotional life and shaped her ability to build relationships and grow as a person. Later, the emotional wounds from these experiences would show themselves in roles that required equal parts strength and tenderness. Through her skill at portraying such nuanced personalities, Streep showed a lady who had internalized her suffering and turned it into empathy. Her early career activities served the dual purposes of creating a career path and sustaining her personal life. Although her brilliance was evident to the audience, below it was a tale of loss, resiliency, and the bravery to keep going. This voyage of grief and resiliency was only the start of an incredible adventure that would turn Streep from a reserved student into a legendary figure in film, a career in acting that develops gradually. The rise to fame of Meryl Streep as an actress was not quick. She started off as a quiet, contemplative student who at first felt disconnected from the theater industry's need for audacity. She was renowned at Yale School of Drama for being calm and analytical rather than ostentatious or emotionally flamboyant. She remained patient, opting to study and hone her skill away from the spotlight, even though her teachers and classmates occasionally questioned if she had the theatrical spark. Rather than making quick leaps, her early years on stage were characterized by patient and methodical progress. She played a supporting part in the Broadway version of Trelawney of the Wells in 1975. While it didn't make a big impression, it did draw the notice of discerning viewers. Nevertheless, she proceeded with caution, each step enhancing her image as a precise and emotionally nuanced performer. Her career's gradual development laid a foundation based on self-control and music, serene assurance. Streep made her cinematic debut in 1977 with a minor role in Julia, but what really made her famous was her performance in the 1978 movie The Deer Hunter. Despite having little screen time, her nuanced representation in the middle of high drama driven by melodrama served as an essential emotional anchor. There were challenging personal circumstances throughout the filming of this role. Despite her serious illness, John Cazale gave the project her whole attention, demonstrating her unwavering commitment despite her personal struggles. Her breakthrough came with the television miniseries Holocaust, which won her her first Emmy and exposed her to a large American audience. She was able to establish herself as more than only a theater actor, but also a captivating presence on cinema, thanks to this exposure. The next year, 1979, was crucial, since she won her first Oscar for Kramer Against Kramer, instantly becoming an icon. Her subtle portrayal of a mother battling divorce struck a profound chord, even though it wasn't a starring role. He had to overcome life's obstacles in order to accomplish his objectives. She had to give genuine reactions when her co-star Dustin Hoffman smacked her during a scene in Kramer vs. Kramer, which was a result of the emotional demands of early parts. Throughout the movie, the filmmaker would manipulate her feelings by drawing on her recollections of John Cazale's passing. Her experiences demonstrated her commitment to her job. However, they also exposed the unspoken personal costs associated with her achievements. Because she played parts that called for both nuance and strength in her acting, Streep became a successful actor in the 1970s and 1980s. In order to set herself apart from her peers, who favored acting through more dramatic displays, she developed an emotional accuracy. Because of her authentic performance, which became her signature and something that people would always like, the audience identified with her characters. The artist gained recognition from his colleagues by developing his reputation gradually. Through years of training, Stray committed herself to honing her acting skills, which eventually enabled her to play a variety of roles. She was able to thrive at progressively challenging tasks throughout her career because of the foundational work she completed during this time. Streep's readiness to delve into complicated personalities as she accepted those challenging roles would demonstrate the full scope of her commitment and talent. Roles that are demanding and transformative. A string of parts that pushed her boundaries and demonstrated her remarkable adaptability began to define Meryl Streep's career. She looked for roles that required complete immersion rather than merely acting, bringing to life nuanced women who were frequently weighed down by contradiction, strength, or trauma. Every role was an audacious test that forced her to step outside of her comfort zone and into areas that few performers would voluntarily enter. Her dedication was demonstrated in Sophie's Choice, where she portrayed a Polish Holocaust survivor struggling with incomprehensible grief. In order to completely comprehend the character's suffering, Stray isolated herself and studied German and Polish in spite of warnings about the emotional toll. She won a second Academy Award and solidified her status as one of the most serious and committed performers of her generation, thanks to her unwavering research and willingness to accept gloom. Soon after, there were more challenging roles. She played an enigmatic Victorian woman in The French Lieutenant's Woman. She went from being a manufacturing worker to an activist in Silkwood. She played the role of an aristocratic writer in Out of Africa. She also portrayed Lindy Chamberlain, an Australian mother falsely accused of murder, in A Cry in the Dark. She was required to not only act but also embody the role in each performance, which was rich in emotional nuances and depth. Because their work forced them to go into intense emotional areas, the actors' tasks went beyond simple acting. Stray gave herself permission to completely disintegrate herself for the part, which produced an unvarnished performance that showed spectators real yet uncomfortable situations. Others praised the method she employed. However, her strategy was criticized by others who felt that it lacked emotional warmth and paid undue attention to technicalities. Stray continued to choose challenging jobs that advanced her career while steering clear of conventional Hollywood roles. In the early 1990s, she changed the course of her career as she started to distinguish herself as a versatile performer through her work in humor and satire, beginning with Death Becomes Her and Postcards from the Edge. Her choice of these parts shocked some, since she refused to accept certain character types while showcasing her versatility as a performer. Her performance in suspenseful films like The River Wild demonstrated her versatility as a performer. As she sought to break free from the rigid character constraints that others attempted to impose on her, she used each performance to regain control over her public image. During this time, the world witnessed a genuine performer who utilized her skills to craft her own narrative, inspiring both awe and jealousy in those around her. Streep demonstrated that in order to succeed over the course of their careers, actresses must remake themselves. Her portrayal of a housewife who struggled with her everyday obligations and her desire for romantic love in The Bridges of Madison County was her most emotionally charged role, and it resonated strongly with middle-aged viewers. Streep made use of she demonstrated her significant emotional maturity in this moment by revealing to the audience their hidden desires and fears, solidifying her reputation as a singularly authentic performer. She took a more than professional approach to developing these personalities. It was a representation of an artist shattering stereotypes and broadening her scope in order to comprehend and convey the human experience in all its complexity. Meryl Streep had to contend with Hollywood's limited definition of her as an actor of heavy, frequently depressing characters, despite her great success in serious dramatic roles. While audiences were used to seeing her in roles that were either grief-stricken or extremely exact, critics occasionally derided her as being too technical and lacking in feeling. Determined to escape this confined persona, she took audacious decisions that shocked both admirers and detractors, demonstrating her remarkable adaptability. With roles in movies like Postcards from the Edge, in which she played an actress battling addiction, and The Shadow of a Well-Known Mother, Streep embraced comedy and satire in the early 1990s. She displayed a new, edgier side of her talent in this role, exploring vulnerability while remaining witty and astute. Then followed Death Becomes Her, a dark comedy in which she portrayed a stunning but evil socialite, mocking Hollywood's fixation with youth and beauty. Her agility and desire to experiment with her public persona were demonstrated in these roles. Moving beyond comedy, she took on action and adventure in The River Wild, negotiating tumultuous waters in real life and on screen, further demonstrating her versatility in any genre. Each initiative was a deliberate move to regain control over her career narrative, even though not all of them were commercial successes. Streep's decisions sparked adoration and jealousy, demonstrating that reinvention was essential to maintaining a long-lasting career in a volatile industry. She played a middle-aged Iowa housewife who was caught between comfort and overpowering passion in Bridges of Madison County, one of her most well-known roles. Audiences responded strongly to the character's depth, which ranged from reluctance to intense longing, confirming Streep's ability to convey complicated emotions. For many, This part dispelled any reservations about her range and signaled a return to full emotional force. Her ability to transition between many musical styles was demonstrated during her career in the 1990s and early 2000s. She explored the idea of parental sacrifice through characters who had health issues in Marvin's Room and One True Thing. Although the hours and adaptation gave her the chance to portray complicated characters who struggled with their own identities and compulsive behaviors, she played roles that were different from those of her contemporaries, who favored adhering to tried-and-true strategies that worked for them. During this time, she demonstrated her resolve to overcome the constraints that the industry and critics had placed on her. She expressed independent authority over her professional development through her jobs. Her extraordinary presence and skill allowed her to play a variety of personas, from strange to regal, and from funny to depressing, proving that her choice of characters was always intentional and transforming. Her iconic performance in The Devil Wears Prada as Miranda Priestly sparked a cultural movement that eventually became a sensation. By portraying her loneliness behind her dominant presence, she was able to use her acting to construct an malicious figure that hid her inner vulnerability. Both positive and negative comments were given to the character, showcasing Stry's ability to make challenging characters likable. This part demonstrated that she wouldn't be limited to playing characters that were depressing or stereotypical. Despite the whirlwinds of celebrity and rebirth, Streep's love-filled and resilient personal life kept her rooted. Personal life and long-term love. Meryl Streep's private life revealed a tale of quiet commitment and tenacity, even as her performances took center stage. Many thought she might turn away from love and live alone after suffering the terrible loss of John Cazale. However, life had other ideas. When she most needed support and company, Don Gummer, a gifted sculptor and fellow Yale graduate, came into her life. Their relationship started out as a simple act of kindness, rather than with much fanfare. During a difficult period, Don gave her a house without asking anything in return. As they wrote to each other during her lengthy workdays and filming trips, their bond grew. Their simple marriage in her parents' garden 6 months later was a monument to their understanding and regard for one another, rather than to elaborate ceremonies or proclamations. They created a life together away from the constant spotlight of Hollywood for more than 40 years. A location where she could be a mother and an artist without tension or guilt. Streep frequently referred to her family as her haven. She loved the equilibrium they kept. Don never overshadowed her profession. Instead, he patiently and warmly supported her aspirations. Stray stated that as marriages need people to accept their partner's flaws, their marriage forced them to practice honest communication. By arguing about trivial issues, such as whether to use a dishwasher or wash dishes by hand, the couple demonstrated their true humanity. Their modest daily activities, such as eating meals together and spending time together after a long day at work, were the true manifestation of their love. During the years she spent raising her 4 children, Streep maintained a successful acting career while dedicating her attention to her family. Her son Henry became a musician, and her daughters pursued careers in the arts. A fresh chapter of happiness is now added by the presence of grandkids, and hints of the upcoming generation suggest a unique artistic heritage that develops subtly. They have had a long-lasting connection. However, we see a significant shift in their relationship. It was revealed in 2023 that they had been apart for a number of years, while still showing mutual respect and understanding. Because they both wished to maintain their love for one another, the couple decided to split up without any public arguments or painful realities. Despite their divergent life paths, Streep keeps wearing her wedding ring as a symbol of her unwavering love for her spouse. This solid personal base lends her art a resonance that extends well beyond the screen as she continues to experiment with new characters and narratives. Public scrutiny and controversy. Meryl Streep has mostly kept her reputation free of scandal during her remarkable career. She was not, however, impervious to the storms that have shook Hollywood. The 2017 Harvey Weinstein revelations were among the most difficult times. A seismic incident that rocked the sector and made many face hard realities. While praising the bravery of the women who spoke up, Streep was quick to denounce Weinstein's acts as shameful and unforgivable. She became one of the first well-known celebrities to openly address the abuse concealed behind Hollywood's glitz after making her declaration. Nevertheless, the scrutiny continued after her response. Rather, it ushered in a new era of public scrutiny. Rose McGowan, a well-known voice in the #Meadow movement, was one of the critics who accused her of involvement and a stream of silence, saying that her denunciation was slow and deliberate. As the media and social media argued whether a powerful person like Streep could have been ignorant about Weinstein's misdeeds, the response became increasingly strong. Because Streep had received Oscars for movies Weinstein produced, these charges were particularly hurtful and fueled the debate about the morality of complicity. Streep put up a strong defense, denying any knowledge of the wrongdoing and dismissing allegations of silent cooperation. She retaliated by emphasizing the need for others, including political figures, to speak up. She famously advised detractors to concentrate on individuals like Melania and Ivanka Trump, whom she said had kept silent. This audacious position generated intense conversations, including one in which Donald Trump Jr. criticized her, calling her a hypocrite and a fraud. The scandal brought to light the delicate balance that celebrities must maintain while exercising moral leadership in the face of intense media scrutiny. When previous statements surfaced, such as a 2012 Golden Globe speech in which strikingly referred to Weinstein as God, and other remarks that Weinstein's attorneys used as proof to cast doubt on her expertise and position, the conflict grew more heated. Streep denounced these applications of her remarks as self-serving and manipulative attempts to avoid accountability. Even with her well-established reputations, the harm persisted and public sentiment remained divided. Others questioned whether anyone in her position could have been genuinely oblivious, given Weinstein's infamy behind the scenes, while others believed she was genuinely ignorant. A larger problem is illustrated by the controversial painting strip as a representation of Hollywood's silence, the intricate relationship between survival, complicity, and power in show industry. For many, the controversy was about the systematic culture that permitted abuse to continue, not just whether or not they knew. Streep finds herself in a challenging and frequently alienating situation where she must choose between defending her image and helping victims. She apologized for being viewed as an enemy by other activists, highlighting a common objective of destroying the sinister customs of the industry. The era demonstrated how even the most respected people might get entangled in the web of ethical inquiry and societal uncertainty. In moments of popular indignation, Streep faced the challenge of maintaining her integrity as society failed to comprehend sensitive issues. Despite an individual's desires and past behavior, the episode had a lasting impact that illustrated the connection between public recognition and public controversies. She learned from the experience that speaking up during a period of profound social change puts people in grave danger. Streep's public issues sprang from a number of incidents that involved more than just unethical behavior. Her wardrobe decisions caused PR problems that put her capacity to uphold a favorable public image to the test. Before the 2017 Oscars, she was accused by Chanel's renowned designer Karl Lagerfeld of canceling an order for a couture gown because she decided to wear a different brand's design after they agreed to pay her. Only a few of Streep's personal characteristics were linked to the charge that she was cheap. Because she adhered to her personal standards, which forbade her from accepting endorsements, Streep's team said they never collected anything for her red carpet appearances. Chanel then suggested that the two parties' disagreement may have resulted from their miscommunications. The event illustrated how people will scrutinize a celebrity's public image based on their career achievements and purportedly private behavior, which can result in unexpected circumstances. Because brand recognition was seen as Streep's primary professional asset, the public thought that her fashion issues reinforced her value through her employment. Streep's reputation as a sympathetic artist and cultural influence only grew stronger as she endured criticism and controversy. Cultural influence and legacy. The name Meryl Streep has come to represent more than just accolades and box office success. It inspires cultural depth, sensitivity, and metamorphosis. She has played more than 70 parts over the course of almost 50 years, presenting audiences with well-developed, very human characters rather than herself. Streep's portrayals of tired mothers, troubled leaders, uncomfortable divas, and strong survivors serve as mirrors to the audience's own inconsistencies and complexity, rendering her work ageless and accessible. Her unmatched talent is demonstrated by her 3 Academy Awards and record 21 nominations. She has gained the most respect, however, because of her empathy. When he presented her with the Presidential Medal of Freedom, former President Barack Obama commended her for transforming empathy into a cultural force that changed the way people tell stories. Beyond mimicry, Streep's ability to embody challenging characters, whether they are Julia Child, Margaret Thatcher, or Florence Foster Jenkins, reveals underlying strength and universal loneliness. The emotional honesty that characterizes her legacy functions as a covert force that compels viewers to feel their most uneasy feelings as they cope with loss and fortify themselves. Stray chooses projects that demand emotional fortitude from her, while exposing the hidden sides of human nature that most people try to hide. Her art requires viewers to reflect carefully on her content, which appeals to a wide range of age groups and cultural backgrounds. Because she continues to develop intricate, multi-layered characters for movies and TV series. Streep plays a crucial role in Hollywood, which has evolved in recent years. She is seen by the business and its audience as a reminder that women over 40 can tell compelling stories with complex information. Streep's career is defined by her genuine dedication to her job, which embodies the goal of long-term success in her field. She chooses to use a strategy that blends quiet labor with committed efforts in order to avoid public notice for self-promotional reasons. She distinguishes herself from her rivals by holding the view that a person needs commitment, continuous improvement, and genuine social ties in order to succeed. One significant part of her background may be traced back to her family. Through the artistic endeavors of her children and grandchildren, the street name continues to be a part of American society. By showcasing an artist who has pursued success while remaining near her family, the personal component adds a loving touch that counterbalances her professional accomplishments. In contrast to her ability to play strong parts on screen, she exhibits grace and humility in her public behavior, which heightens her remarkable impact. Her legacy of fearless dedication to truth and humanity in storytelling serves as the foundation for her ongoing desire for meaningful work, silent reinvention, and ongoing passion. Meryl Streep showed no indications of slowing down or abandoning the skill that has defined her life, even as she approached her 70s. Her unwavering work ethic and dedication are demonstrated by the fact that, in the over 50 years since her debut, she has never taken a year off. Strachey has frequently expressed that she does not view herself as a legend, but rather as an artist with unresolved work and a storyteller with significant stories to tell the world. She chooses initiatives that have a profound emotional connection rather than settling into comfortable routines because of this philosophy, which keeps her progressing. Streep has taken on parts in a variety of media in recent years, including animated movies and television. Her comic and lighthearted side was previously hidden from viewers, but her series performances showed it. She surprised fans and sparked discussions about an alleged off-screen connection with co-star Martin Short by fusing charm and humor in her role as Loretta Durkin. This readiness to venture beyond her conventional dramatic parts points to a welcome reinvention based on her enduring passion for nuanced characters and authentic storytelling. Streep's comeback to the big screen includes eagerly awaited films like The Devil Wears Prada 2, which were shot with well-known actors like Anne Hathaway and Emily Blunt, reenacting her legendary role as Miranda Priestly, who is currently regarded as a fashion queen nearing the end of her career. She serves as a reminder to viewers that aging does not have to mean losing relevance or charm. Despite the fact that filming was not yet finished at the time of the latest reports, the announcement alone generated international attention, highlighting her ongoing capacity to capture cultural discussions. Streep's career has evolved to provide youthful audiences with amusement, while preserving her ability to play roles that she has played for many years. She believes that storytelling can reach all age groups, as seen by her Emmy Award for narrating 3 questions in Storyline Online, which was her first win in the children's category. When she stated in her acceptance speech that children need adult listening even before they learn to tell stories, she demonstrated her commitment to elevating the voices of underrepresented groups. She maintains a low profile while interacting with the public in order to give her family and personal life first priority. Her eldest son, Henry, is a musician, and her 2 daughters, My Grace, are pursuing careers in acting. Her granddaughter's early interest in performing demonstrates that she is a member of a unique family tradition in the arts. Streep manages her public appearances and lets her work speak for itself, which allows her to remain authentic despite her achievements. She takes a very different approach to fame than many contemporary celebs. She prefers a more sedate life centered on meaningful decisions, avoiding social media and the constant self-promotion typical in today's entertainment sector. Her selective participation makes her more enigmatic while also earning her more respect. Because she saw acting as her primary job, the actor committed her life to her career. Nevertheless, she would rather master her skill than pursue ostentatious exhibitions. The tale of Meryl Streep is one of tenacity, creativity, and unparalleled talent. At 76, she continues to shine by embracing change and meaningful roles that challenge and inspire. If you found her journey as moving as we did, please like this video and subscribe for more stories of remarkable lives and talents. And if you wanted a similar deep dive, click and watch the next video shown on the